My name is Cooper Horswell. I am bisexual and I have been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome and sensory processing disorder. I don't understand people. I don't get what they're doing, how they feel or anything like that, and I've had to learn that it annoys people that I don't understand some things because they understand it obviously because they don't have autism, because I've had to learn all this stuff and I'm still learning.
My name's Rachel Sylvester and I am Cooper's mum. You just make adjustments because obviously he's been our baby all his life, and you just go along with anything that your child does. You adjust it to fit them.
The bullying was always there, but the sexuality kind of stuff was when I just told people I was bi at school, because, you know, it comes up in conversation sometimes. The bullying has affected me as it's harder to make friends sometimes because they don't really get much of it. They don't really get me. Frankly, I don't get them.
When he was in Year R, I'm good friends with his then Year R teacher. I remember having a conversation with her when I think he was in Year 1 or Year 2, I can't remember, having a conversation. I said, do you know what, one day he's going to come up and say, I like boys and girls. And she said, yeah, I don't think that he's going to be able to decide. So when he said he was bi, we were like, wow. I mean, obviously it's affected him because people will bully him, but like he says, he's used to that. Being on the spectrum, you find it easier to accept certain things. So I think you accept certain things about people a lot easier than others do, because you don't necessarily have that kind of judgment that somebody who's neurotypical do. And I suppose he just thinks, well, this is who I am, so simple as.
I went from what I thought, well, I did go from the top of the school. I went from the top of the school and the top of the class, because I was in like the top 6 people, with what I thought were lots of friends who were like really nice, and I went from that back down to 0. And like everyone hated me. I got beat up in the first week.
It's hard enough growing up, as we all know, and especially secondary school is rubbish. Going through all these different stages of your life with people you do not understand, who don't understand you, has been horrible. Bullying has been horrific.
I feel like LGBTQ plus people are represented not good, but better than ASD people. ASD people are more glossed over.
I'm the one fighting for anything that he's had in schools and making people understand that what the difference is.
We're not stupid, but yeah, we're weird. That's fair. But we are still people, and people just don't get it, don't know that it exists. I like a lot of media because there's stuff like Steven Universe. That's a really good show with LGBT underlined.
How do you feel ASD people are represented in media then?
It's not. What can I say? It's not. It's just not there, really. There's a few bits here and there, but it's not really easy to find.
The only representation you get of people who are on the spectrum are generally people who are the classic ASD, whereas Cooper, Asperger's manifests itself a little bit differently, as that they're more, I hate the whole higher functioning, but he's high functioning, and therefore he is expected to be normal. I suppose because Stu didn't know he was on the spectrum, He didn't get diagnosed until, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago. Neither did my dad, didn't know until after Cooper was diagnosed. But they differ, I suppose, because they didn't know, and they've had to survive in a neurotypical world, being ASD, and not understanding themselves, not knowing why, or not being accepted as to what they do. So they've had to mask that. It's like with Stu, he will mask it when he's with everybody else, but not at home, not with certain people. There's certain people that he feels comfortable with, so he doesn't have to mask it, and therefore he can be who he needs to be, whereas Cooper is the same wherever he goes.
What are some of your hobbies in day-to-day life?
Drawing, playing computer games, existing. I do that on a daily basis, that last one. I like to put myself on the page. I like to draw. I like to use my imagination. I draw parts of me in different characters, basically.
Society, I think, is quite horrible, and I think that people like to tick boxes, and they like to say that they understand ASD, and they like to say that they understand people who are different in any way, regardless of whether that's their sexuality, whether or not that's disability, whether that's depression, however it manifests itself. I think people seem to think they know what they're talking about, and they have these preconceived ideas of what these people need, feel, how their lives are spent.
What are your aspirations for the future?
Let's see, get into college, do animation, get out of college, probably make a YouTube channel and just be stupid on that as well. I find it hard to make friends, and I wouldn't care whether anyone liked what I made, as long as I made it. I want to make something that people will enjoy and want to watch.
Because being on the spectrum, there is a high degree of depression, anxiety and suicide, especially for, we all know that the statistics for men between the ages of 15 and 45, suicide is the biggest killer. So first and foremost, I just want him to be happy. If I can help him be at least stable, it doesn't have to be joyous, at least stable, that is winning. And there are also people on the spectrum, the percentages of people in full-time work is only 15% people, so Stu's on that. So to help him find his little way in terms of being able to find a job or being stable, that is literally